should be fun.
Family don't end with blood.
I regret this already.
Hello? Not an idiot. See ya.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Give him the bits! The bits! The bits!
The things I do for love.
I will never, ever turn my back on people who need me. Cartoons.
Twist the bones and bend the back.
I smell toothpaste.
This week's episode features themes of witchcraft and a mention of weird vibes between a brother and sister care. The source material for this episode is rated TV PG, so just like last week's, it's good for all audiences. If you want to listen along but haven't seen the source material yet, please skip when you hear a spell being cast to an upbeat track. Have fun! I don't have a lot of space. Right, it's about an inch. So just talk about an inch away from it. You don't have to actually touch it.
No, I haven't been touching it. I've been talking
You said you were making out with it.
Okay. A second ago, I was like this.
Let's restart the opening. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to whatever this show is called.
Why should I watch that?
Yeah.
Why is yours so low?
Fuck you.
Myra, Jay, and Sam. I'm Sam.
I'm uncomfortable.
I need to get you another chair.
You really do? I don't know if I can do this forever.
So, hi. Welcome to Why Should I Watch That?
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm Jay.
I'm Myra.
And I'm Sam.
I'm a bossy person today, apparently.
It's okay. We all have our days.
Today, hopefully some of you have figured it out, we are watching
We watch
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. It's a cult classic at this point.
very much.
Everyone but me had seen it by at least 2019. I'm sorry, my mom didn't like witchy things, so I didn't get to watch it.
No,
Also,
I mean, that's fair.
Also, my dumbass probably didn't notice it was a thing, so like it was everything was going against me.
I'm like, true.
Yeah,
But I have seen it. I have seen it now. Twice.
Look at you.
I definitely remember the first time too.
So, ouch. Careful with the mic. Our poor viewers are gonna hear that.
Oh, real quick, before we actually jump into the episode, thank you for everyone who listened to the last one. We actually got a couple followers on our Instagram. Hello.
And Twitter.
Welcome to the party. Hopefully we will do you good. Shout out. Well, I mean, we don't have to shout out. We don't have. Do you want to shout out? Well, half of them are us.
And the other half are not.
So the half that aren't us,
Welcome.
You have rights. Congratulations.
No, but I was going to say shout-outs for the people that figured out it's Hocus Pocus.
Oh, fuck.
We are recording this the day after the first episode posted, so we will retroactively add a shout out. We've got that.
We will retroactively shout out all over you.
Shout out. Whoever got it right. Please hashtag us or add us, however you want to do that. I will be on the lookout.
Also, hopefully, this week sounds a little better. The first night we tried to record, we had tech issues from hell. So, honestly, tonight wasn't any better, but we got everything to work, unlike the first time.
It was a different variety of tech issues from
different
hell.
flavor.
Yeah.
But we're here now. We got it. Everything is fine.
It's not like we're actively watching for potential malfunctions or anything.
So if the quality suddenly drops, I didn't do it.
It was the computer's fault.
Okay, so let's discuss...
Do we want to read the synopsis first? Because that's what we did with Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah.
Well,
here. Go ahead. Talk.
Our impressions before rewatching it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hey, I can actually talk about this.
Hey!
Holy shit.
where
Hi.
I was going.
I had not seen the show, movie, whatever the fuck.
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, that's what I said. Didn't you were you not listening to me? I said some cool words. Also, I have had caffeine, so, I talk now. Yeah, so I saw it for the first time last year, completely forgot it existed for the most part over the course of the year, and rewatched it, definitely not a couple hours ago. So, Listen, I was up until a late doing the last episode. Anyway, my impressions going into it, I knew next to nothing about it other than Myra and Joey were so mad at me for not seeing it before. Like,
correct.
I
remember this argument.
Maybe not like aggressive mad, but like judgment mad.
Judgment aggressive.
I was not aggressive.
I'm combining both.
I was not aggressive.
Joey was aggressive.
Joey was aggressive. You were
I was judgy mad.
insistent.
Joey, this is a call out post. You were mad at me, and I'm still salty about it. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I?
Joey is a friend of the podcast.
You might meet him. Anyway, so, like, my first impressions, I realized that I have a habit of over dramatizing things in my brain. Like, when I first heard of Napoleon Dynamite, my immediate thought was, this is a superhero who blows things up. If you've seen Napoleon Dynamite, you know how wrong I am. Imagine my disappointment in sitting through that entire movie at a Bible camp, waiting for something cool to happen, only to
Bible camp?
Yes, welcome to Georgia.
What the?
Welcome to Georgia.
That is a very interesting movie to watch at a...
Georgia, what the fuck?
That's, I mean, Bible camp, that's an interesting place to watch that movie.
And imagine my fucking disappointment upon finishing the goddamn movie. Like, I'm waiting the entire time for this dude to finally get his superpowers and kick ass and take names, and he just talks like this for the entire movie, and then he, like, talks about tigers and ligers, and also vote for Pedro, and then the movie's over after he goes, God, and makes fun of his brother.
Amazing.
Welcome to Napoleon. Anyway... So, like, with, like, that, and, like, even with Hocus Pocus, I hear the general premise of a show, and I go, ooh, this gonna be spooky, this gonna be, like, over-serious. I'm, like, putting stuff into an action role when it may not be. So I was ready for, like, a war against witches with a cool cat.
How wrong you were!
Yeah. I started the movie, and within 30 seconds went, oh, no, it's just the Folgers commercial extended.
Oh, Jesus.
No! You're so right, but no, please, God.
Yeah,
There's some weird sexual tension between...
We'll get into it.
We're getting into it.
So, yeah, my initial reactions weren't necessarily bad. It had, you know, it was good humor. It's from the 90s. Yeah, so my initial thoughts weren't necessarily on brand with what the actual movie is. But, you know, by the end of it, I had enjoyed it. It was a lot more fun than I was expecting. The plot was a little... Thin, but the comedy that surrounded it really, like, held it up in a way that you didn't really need the plot, the heavy plot. I especially liked when Ice and Present Mike were chained up and he stole, the main character dude stole back the shoes that he stole.
That was so 90s. Oh my god.
Yeah, the 90s vomited on them, and they did not age well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my first impressions. I know Myra's seen it a lot.
Myra has watched this movie religiously since it came out.
Not since it came out, because I was 3 when it came out.
You told me at dinner.
I told you at dinner
Then she corrected herself.
Yes,
I know, but I'm making a point.
I think I've seen it religiously since I was, like, 9. So, like, 99.
Okay, so most of your formative years.
Yep. Just once a year through Halloween, and maybe 2 or 3 times this past year.
So the mental health has been going well, I take it?
COVID has not helped at all.
Find one person that COVID has helped.
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Fuck you for even bringing him up on this podcast.
I know.
You said find one person.
And did it help him or hurt him? Because he got it.
Oh, that's karma.
That is a dirty Cheeto.
Okay, so anyway, for those of you unfamiliar with Hocus Pocus...
Wait, was there anything you wanted to say about it?
I mean, most of what my comeback to it impressions were what you said.
Oh, okay.
I remembered that the witches killed children for their youth. Peak 90s. Aesthetic as fuck. Plot happens because boy is a dumbass. Which is what happens. And then Zachary with a question mark, but, you know.
It's
what?
Thackeray with a TH.
Thackeray?
Oh, Binks.
Binks. I don't understand why they introduce him as Thackeray at the beginning of the movie and then jump to Binks.
Because it's Thackeray Binks.
Right,
His
but
last name is Binks.
Right, but they don't call him Binks at the start of the movie. They call him Thackeray.
Right, it's like...
But that's like your parents calling you Garcia, or like...
Right, it's weird.
No,
your parents
but he's talking to his friend at the beginning of the movie.
Okay, now here's the thing. I know some friends who call their other friends by their first name. I know some friends who call their friends by their last name. You don't do both.
And then...
No, but I think that has more to do... Can we get into this until later on?
Okay. So...
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, because we're supposed to be doing impressions.
Oh, yeah, we already did that.
So go into the synopsis.
So this is the synopsis according to the Googles. After moving to Salem, Massachusetts, teenager Max Dennison explores an abandoned house with his sister Danny and their new friend Allison. After dismissing a story Allison tells as superstitious, Max accidentally frees a coven of evil witches who used to live in the house. Now, with the help of a magical cat, the kids must steal the witch's book of spells to stop them from becoming immortal. Which is not inaccurate.
No.
It makes it seem a lot more serious than it is, which isn't a problem. It just is a note.
The main actors are Sarah Jessica Parker as Sarah Sanderson, Betty Midler as Winifred Sanderson, and Kathy Nimji? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Let me
Najimi.
Najimi?
Oh, okay.
Kathy Najimi as Mary Sanderson. And those are the main three sisters. Thora Birch was Danny Dennison. Vanessa Shaw was Allison. And Omri Katz was Max Dennison. And those are the main 6 characters that we really interact with. It's an hour and 36 minutes.
You can currently watch it on
Disney Plus
for free. Right now, it is on Freeform because of their 30 Days of Halloween. Mm-hmm. It is also currently in select movie theaters.
Despite COVID?
Yes, actually.
COVID, yeah, movie theaters are starting to open up despite CDC guidelines.
Yeah, they started opening up despite the CDC guidelines. So if you are one of those people who wants to go out there, please be safe.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
I don't know, guys. AMC seems sus.
Regal seems sus.
Park 12. That shit always smell like feet anyways. I mean...
NCG seems sus.
I'm just saying, if you are that person that feels like you are tired of being cooped up and you want to go to the movies, please be careful. Do it safely. It is being shown at select movie theaters. I'm not sure which ones would be near you, near us, AMC, and Park 12 for some
Park
reason.
12, Regal, and NCG are all in the local Georgia areas.
If you're looking for a specific theater that may or may not be showing it, we do have this really cool friend. He's actually pretty available to help. His name is Senor Google. And if you just type in his name without the senor into your search bar, he might be able to, if he has time, he'll get with you and help you find one.
And actually, Netflix Party is no longer exclusively Netflix Party.
Yeah.
It's called Teleparty now. Ooh. So if you have a streaming service and you want to watch it with your friends...
Bitch, why didn't we do that?
Disney Plus has it.
Oh, Disney Plus have a different version?
No, Disney Plus does the
Oh, it's... Okay, cool.
Oh,
yeah, cool.
They cooperated.
Yes. They did.
It also works for Hulu and I think some other services.
I think they finally decided that it's time to be inclusive for everybody just because of the times. But...
Stay safe.
Yeah. So if you want to see it for free, Disney Plus, if you have the subscription, and Freeform, again, right now, is doing it because of their 30 Days of Halloween. I don't know if they're going to continue showing it after Halloween, but for their 30 days, they're doing it free.
For spooks.
If you're coming here from the future, sorry if we're wrong.
If you don't have Disney Plus and don't want to pay the price, we get it. You can purchase it on Amazon Prime, YouTube, Vudu, Google Play, and iTunes. So it is able to purchase, or of course, right now, I mean, you can purchase it on DVD or Blu-ray. I think they remastered it for Blu-ray again for a special anniversary, which it's actually coming up on its 30th anniversary in 2023.
Wow.
Oh.
So
Neat.
there you go.
So we start off with a really aesthetic shot of
Oh shit!
Salem.
Future J, put in the spoiler. Put in the spoiler. God, I almost missed it.
My name's Wilfred. What's yours? I put a spell on you, and now you're gone.
First, we start off with the old school Disney logo, which I fucking love.
I
miss
love that
it.
they didn't take it off. You know,
I forgot it had even changed to something new. You're right.
It's so good. I don't understand why they switched.
because they wanted to be modern.
Change.
Fuck modern. I like the old school Disney logo, and I will die on this hill.
I love old school Disney, so hey.
Oh, fun fact. It was directed by Kenny Ortega, in case you're familiar with him and his work.
Almost should I.
He also directed a fuck ton of other things, including Newsies, High School Musical, some other things.
Pretty sure he did Descendants, if I'm not wrong.
Descendants. Him and Disney have had a close working relationship.
He is actually not...
Well, you know, we're all in this together.
We're all in this.
Spoiler, not spoiler, I don't know. Disney is in the collabs of making a second one.
Oh.
But...
Of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Yes. What are we talking about?
I mean,
we had just mentioned High School Musical.
I mean, they already have a sequel.
But, like, they
they
already
have a sequel.
Well, they have, like, 5, but, like...
It could be
I
a whole
wanted
new
to,
reboot.
I want it to be clear.
Well, if you would let me finish.
Go.
They're thinking of making... It's in the works, supposedly. I'm not 100% sure when it'll be released. It's supposed to be a Disney Plus exclusive.
Oh.
But from what I've read, it is not going to be directed by Kenny Ortega.
Oh.
I know. The original actresses that did the Sanderson sisters will not be coming back either. Which I think is...
Probably a good choice, since they burst into dust at the end of the film.
Well,
So wait, does that mean that more they're going to be more witches all of a sudden?
But I mean, I
Or is
don't...
it just like a high-key reboot?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it a reboot or is it a sequel? Because supposedly people are saying it's Hocus Pocus 2. If it's Hocus Pocus 2 and you're talking about the Sanderson sisters, you need the original actresses back. Unless they are trying to force people that look like the original actresses to take their places to make them look younger.
I think that would be a bad decision.
Here comes a thought that might intrigue you. What if couldn't they just format the majority of the story around like, ooh, they didn't actually die and now they're old?
Ooh.
Why would they have to go? The witches don't have to be young. Their whole thing, they've got like a Mother Gothel vibe to them.
Yes, they do.
Why couldn't they just play with the actress's new age?
Or are they going to go off the theory that Allison is in fact a white witch?
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Sorry.
Old school Disney logo, Kenny Ortega. They actually filmed in Salem, Massachusetts, and another location in Massachusetts.
Plymouth Colony.
Okay.
Palem.
I knew what I was talking about. It just didn't come out right.
There were some interesting writing decisions throughout the entire script.
Yeah, in case you were listening, I did in fact say Folgers commercial, and if you thought, ooh, are they talking about the Folgers commercial that I'm thinking of? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Think about it, go back, do me a favor, pause the podcast after I'm done talking about this. Go rewatch the Folgers commercial, then immediately go rewatch all of Hocus Pocus. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Do that and then come back here and tell me to my face that I'm incorrect. I will take it as an adult, but I will continue to say that I have rights.
Thackeray Binks is a fan service twink, and I will not be taking criticism at this time. And then he gets put in that flowy white shirt, and it gets ripped literally 2 seconds after he gets introduced. I am not taking criticism at this time.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Also, this might be rude to say, but, like, I had a hard time telling apart the main brother and sister that we follow and Thackeray and his sister, because I don't know if they are the same actors or if they are just very similar, but I have never seen 4 white people look so similar.
So, fun fact, the kid who played Thackeray, he's actually come out pretty successful. He is now been in NCIS, the original, for 15 seasons.
Oh, look at him. It's like...
He's, what's, not, why am I thinking Gibbs? God damn it, that's not Gibbs.
No, that's
Tony?
not Gibbs.
No, not Tony.
He's not the chunky one, is he?
He's the chunky one.
Oh, no.
What's his fucking name? I know, I've watched fucking NCIS enough to know his name.
Okay, I haven't seen it in so long. When I think
it's
of
not
that guy,
Seba. God damn it.
It's not, I say oh no, not in reference to oh no, he's the chunky one now, but his facial structure from that movie compared to the facial structure that my brain is remembering from NCIS, this
Very
is
different.
like it's like Neville from Harry Potter. Those two people don't look the same.
Yeah, they don't.
But they're the same. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
It continues the idea that women with knowledge are threats to society.
McGee!
No, it doesn't.
Yes! Okay, so the original stereotype of why witches were hunted and burned
was because 3 to 7 young girls went and danced naked in the woods and went, hey, let's keep doing this. It was fun.
Right. But then it continued and perpetuated because...
That was in Salem. It actually really, when it started, because it started in Elizabethan time.
There you go.
In England. Mm-hmm. So it really did start because women were feared.
Women with knowledge are threats.
They are.
And this is a threat.
Think of every smart woman you've ever heard of. They are threats, and that's a good thing.
Well,
RBG.
But it actually started interesting, if we're going to go into these interesting facts. It started in Scotland because of King James, who is
fuck him.
Elizabeth's nephew. Mm-hmm. Was starting to get very paranoid and fearful. Mm-hmm. And when he was in that paranoia and fearfulness, a lot of it actually came because of Catholicism. Because people were scared, thought because you practiced Catholicism, you were witches. Because everybody was trying to go to Protestantism. And the fact that his mom was a Catholic, people wanted him to be... He didn't want to fit into that stigma.
That's so fucking weird. That's like how Hitler's grandma was a Jew. Like, why are you fearing what you came from? It's just a personal choice.
Well, his mom ended up getting killed. His dad got killed. Everybody that he knew, his Aunt Mary, for Christ's sake, became known as Bloody Mary.
Isn't he a king?
Yeah.
Tell them all to shut the fuck up. You're king.
Yeah, but if he told everybody to shut the fuck up, he wouldn't have gotten the English throne. Because Elizabeth
you get the throne, and then you go, hey, hello, I'm your new king. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, no, and he did that. After he got the Elizabeth's throne, and he started realizing he was a little fucking paranoid, he's like, oh, shit. And then he said, never mind.
You done fucked up, Aaron.
Anyway, my one reason why I'm on the slightly disagree side of this chart. I went slightly disagree, not full, but not neutral. I'm trying to word this correctly. I don't think when they were writing that movie they had any of that intention.
Oh no,
because
no,
because the knowledge. The knowledge, and I'm putting air quotes for those of you who are not here physically, is if you kill enough kids, you'll live forever.
That wasn't... that was a thought process at the time, to be fair.
Well,
exactly.
It fits with witches, though.
No, I'm not hating on the thought process. I understand, but if we're calling that knowledge in 2000 fucking in the 1990s, if we're calling that knowledge, we need to reconsider where our society is heading. We already should.
I mean, we already elected an orange, so like.
Okay, yeah. So we should be reconsidering it, but maybe on the don't eat children front.
Fair.
Why would you drink when I'm on a tangent like that?
I don't know.
She's trying to die.
That would be nice.
No,
don't die, kids.
Okay.
So
anyway,
and that's the only reason I slightly disagree, because the if anything, the what's her name, who was the pseudo sister girlfriend. No, the girl.
Oh, Allison.
Yeah, whatever. Technically she was supposed to be the dude's girlfriend or whatever. But when they're
sexual crush.
Yes, but when they're
Cuddling with a pillow was a strange choice.
But after they trap the witches in the I know what it's called, the
kiln.
Kiln. Thank you. Once they trap them in the kiln, they walk away and they go, "We're all the family now." And the girl just goes, "Yeah, I'm family." She just vibes with them, goes home with them, and is like, "Sure, I'm family, even though I'm supposed to be your girlfriend," which has a really weird vibe.
And then they cuddle together and fall asleep.
If anything, Allison should be feared because she knows the most about the witches. And she's literally just forgotten about for the majority. She's like, "Hi, my name's Allison. I know a lot about witches, and I'm definitely, like, attractive and stuff." And then for the rest of the movie, she's just gripping onto the main guy's arm, like,
"Oh, no."
She tries to take the book at one point, and someone snatches it away from her. It's like, "Stop that!" And she goes, "Okay." But she's the brains of this operation, and everyone fucking disregarded her for eye candy.
Yes.
She literally has the one brain cell. And,
it was not given
Max
to her.
ignores her because, like, I'm gonna grandstand with a lighter. Look at me.
Anyway, go ahead with your thing about knowledge. I'm sorry.
No, that was really it. It's just women with knowledge should be feared. They know about anatomy. They know about, chemistry. You know.
So,
I'm not wrong.
you're not
They
wrong.
make a potion.
They make one potion.
They make one singular potion multiple times throughout
I will
the
admit,
entire
like,
film.
Building off of that, I will say that if you take away the overall context of the movie and how it's supposed to be a comedy, if you look at how the book that the witches have, even in, like, historical text in their world, is written as a book that was given by the devil. And, like, yes, we know that to be, like, partially true. We'll get into that. It's true in some way, shape, or form, but, like, to even for history books, to admit that a book has demonic potential, that could vibe. To say that these ladies had a book and it was demonic because it had words in it, that tracks.
That tracks, yeah.
So technically this movie was supposed to be a lot darker than it was.
Oh.
And I wish they would have kept it.
Oh.
Sorry.
Maybe that's what the reboot's gonna do.
I hope so. Because it was supposed to be a lot darker than it was. You're supposed to see that more darker,
Maleficent?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Side of the Sanderson sisters. But
As opposed to Sarah Jessica Parker being
extremely sexualized.
Extremely.
Yes.
Honestly, with as much.
I'm still
headliner.
angry about the underwear, by the way.
Go ahead, tell
Go
them about
ahead.
the underwear.
So, I understand why Disney went the direction they went with the underwear, because technically you can't do proper
costuming
to do what Sarah Sanderson is doing throughout the movie, because it would become porn.
Yo, we're not touching that.
I mean, it would become American porn.
Yeah. Fine, fair. It would actually be acceptable in Europe, because apparently this is very common in Europe.
Yes.
European movies are very liberal.
Europeans do not give two shits about nudity.
Oh.
European
but, like,
movies
it kind of
are
makes sense. Like, our bodies are our bodies, even if we're wearing clothes. And, like...
I mean, that's fair.
It's not like they're, like, some... The more you think about it, they're just bodies.
I just don't want to see that. I don't...
I mean... If it's for art's purpose, I'll sit through it.
If it's for art, sure, but like
you wouldn't
in this context, it's a Disney movie.
I'm agreeing with you, and that's why I said I understand why Disney did it. I just have an issue because they're giving them Victorian era underwear to women that come from the 16th century.
I mean, that's fair. They're doing a massive time jump.
But, I mean, if you're gonna argue about the underwear, why not argue about the language that the witches use, the clothing itself? Because literally all of the rest of the so-called pilgrims in the show have at least kinda accurate... I mean, it's like movie accurate clothing.
Winifred had, like, Victorian era clothing.
But she wouldn't have. She's in the colonies.
Okay, can we just admit that they're demons sent from hell and can do whatever the fuck they want and probably do not exist on a time-space continuum?
I think that I honestly think the Sanderson sisters were alive a lot longer than we think they were.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I think that they have been doing the spell to keep themselves younger for centuries and then found a page in the book that would just make it permanent.
That's interesting.
Because when you watch the first like couple of scenes with them, they get the girl, they pin her down, they suck away all her youth, and then they start planning how to keep it permanent. So it seems like they did their normal thing and then said, okay, yes, and
now we got to make it permanent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I mean, yeah, that's fair because I did make a note of book is OG Google. No, because
hey sister,
book. Because she literally was like, okay, show me how we want to punish Thackeray, and he's like, let me flip open to this convenient page. Ooh. Okay. Hi.
What if? Okay, so when you know from watching the movie that eventually Thackeray helps get rid of the witches.
Correct.
What if the book isn't evil?
Because the book actually has white spells in it.
Right. So what if he kept Thackeray... What if the book... I gave it a gender, I'm sorry. What if the book kept Thackeray alive, knowing that sometime in the future he would be able to help keep the book out of their hands?
Okay.
Spicy.
So that's a hot take.
Wait.
It jumps. I'm sorry. It came to my brain, and if I don't get it out, it leaves.
So that implies that the book is in fact not given to the sisters by the devil himself.
I mean, it could.
I mean, maybe. But why would the devil give his own servants the tools to their own downfall?
I think...
do you think the devil's fair?
The devil doesn't give a shit.
No. But here's the thing. He's an economist.
Yeah. So wouldn't he want to cause chaos wherever chaos can be spread?
No. Because.
But I think what happens, like going with what you're saying, he gave it to the Sanderson sisters to cause chaos in Salem at the time. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the devil's like,
with your mask, sir. With your mask.
I have a towel.
For our dear listeners.
No, shut the fuck up. Don't out me. I'm cutting it out.
Okay.
You don't have to
back
shit.
to the book. The thought you both have good thoughts. So I think the book was originally given to the Sanderson sisters, particularly Winifred.
Oh, absolutely. He would not give that book to Sarah. Sarah is delightful.
Yes.
But what if the devil's their mom?
See, no.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to... I like the energy, but I'm gonna have to disagree.
That's fine.
Fine. Now, this goes to a couple fan fictions that I read.
Oh,
because
God.
it's very...
Yes. Brace yourselves, dear listeners.
Okay, well, one of
do
them
we want to jump into the fanfics right now? Or do we
No,
want to save that for later?
I will save that for later. But, going back to your thought about the book. Winifred got the book from the devil to begin with. Mm-hmm. I think he wanted chaos in Salem at that time.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
The book gave them the option to keep him, Binks alive. Mm-hmm. For later use at defeating them. Because, back to a lot of fan theories, that Allison is a white witch.
Okay.
The book, at the end of the series, opens its eye back up, even though the Sanderson sisters are dead.
Correct.
I think at that point, because Allison opened the book when she was in the room with Max.
It was such a weird scene.
Yes. But no.
The whole
She
movie is a
opened the
weird
book.
scene.
No, she opened the book, not Max.
Mm-hmm.
So the book is now now responding to Allison. It is now Allison's.
So maybe that's why the huge explosion happened, because we didn't see that at any other point.
So you think he went, ooh, new master.
Give it a gender too, it's a book.
Okay, so it went, ooh, new master, and, like, lit up and was like, ah, powers. But it's a different flavor of
Maybe
powers?
it was like in D&D, it was a tuning tour.
Yes.
So
because-
after she took a long rest?
Which she did!
No! She took a long rest, and throughout the whole time when they were being chased, before they took that
She's
long
the one
rest,
carrying
she's the one carrying it.
She attuned to the book.
attuned to
this,
the
I love
book!
this plan. I love this.
She attuned to the book, and of course, the first spell that she really notices is a white spell.
And even Winifred is like, oh, you clever little white witch.
Exactly. Winifred recognizes her as a white witch.
Oh, shit. And that makes sense why she would be so, like, gung-ho about learning about witches and stuff if she had some kind of preconceived, witchery about her. Do we want to get into the elephant in the room?
The animal theory?
Oh, fuck. Let's get into that one instead. It's a lot lighter.
So, after rewatching Hocus Pocus, we all noticed this, and it was, I mean, it's pretty damn obvious that Mary's a dog. Mm-hmm. I mean, throughout the whole fucking movie, it's obvious.
I think everyone knows that. Like, she does not hide it well.
Her superpower is literally scent.
But I mean, she barks. Even within, like, the first 5 minutes, she starts barking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She barks at Binks once he's turned into a cat.
At Binks, she barks at Danny.
She barks at she growls at the vacuum when she starts to fly on it.
Yeah,
or yipes or something. She makes a dog-ish sound of fear.
Yes.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
I don't know which one that is.
She's
Sarah.
the slutty one.
Thank you.
She's the blonde one.
And listen, she has rights, but she's a cat.
And you might be thinking to yourself, what the fuck? Why would she be a cat? Maybe she's a rabbit. Maybe all this other stuff. Hear me out. She plays with her hair all the time because it's long and flowy like string. She requires attention a lot. But the second she doesn't want it, she walks away. She acts like a cat in heat.
She climbs things, gets stuck, and just kind of hangs there.
Her favorite toy is a rat tail.
Also, which sisters she always kind of fight with?
Mary.
Ruff.
Who's a dog? Now you're thinking, what's Winifred? I'll tell you. She's a rat.
Am I a lady or am I a rat?
Am I a rat?
She's a rat. And you can see it partially because of the pointy thing in her lip that exposes her teeth more. Yes, I know it's technically a prosthetic piece in her mouth, but it makes her teeth look all like shoved to the front. And that could be any form of rodent-based mammal. It could be anything. But if you also look at her nails,
she's the only one with, like, claws.
and yeah, when you look at them really close, they are not typical acrylics. They are almost thin. They look very rat-like. And also,
she's the smartest of the group.
She is the smartest. Rats are one of the smarter mammals. Also, at one point near the end, she says she calls one of the kids who tried to steal the book from her. I forgot which one. She calls them rat-faced in an attempt to insult them, thus alluding to maybe she doesn't like her original form. Maybe she's kind of throwing some shade about how, well, rats are uggo, so, like, I know that for a fact.
Their mother just turned some animals into people.
Their mother went, I would like children, I will make furries now.
Yeah. No, and like, the more you see
I think I will create furries.
The more you see the movie, you really do see it in their characteristics.
How they interact.
How they're... Especially with Mary and Sarah. I think Mary and Sarah have the most animalistic things. And you see it because Sarah has that excuse me, has that attention span of a cat who's bored.
Correct.
What are you laughing about?
My notes.
Oh, same!
Yeah, no, I mean, her notes are ridiculous, and it's scary.
For context, Sam has five pages of notes. I have about 5 lines.
I have none.
They're all valid, though.
I'm not saying your notes are valid, not valid.
We're not hating on your notes. It's just the dichotomy of how they decrease they decrease as we go around the room.
Like, for real.
Yeah, because
I gotta admit, I really didn't take notes for this particular show just because I've seen it so much. I've had thoughts about it for so long. There are things that I think are wrong within the movie. For instance, the timeline is fucking stupid wrong. Because, by the way, fun fact, October 31st, 1693, which is when the Sanderson sisters were supposed to be killed, the Salem witch trials were over. They were not looking for witches anymore. They were actually not allowed to hang people for being witches anymore. That ended in May. So...
Okay, but do we know that they were hanged for witchcraft? Or... Because the mysterious disappearance of Thackeray and the presence of a dead child.
Yeah, in their... Okay, I'm not disagreeing, because they were perceived as witches. However, at the trial, before they hang them, the dad asks what he did with their children.
Okay, fair. So they're probably being hung for the death of Emily.
And it could be... It could be like...
People are hanged. You get hung for... You hung a coat.
It could be like... Honestly, they could have just been like, hey, we have probable cause and are angry, so we're going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
The witchery could have... They could have not been the cause of their death and probably still would have been hanged because of how they looked.
Okay, so here's my thing, though. At the hanging scene, Thackeray shows up. Binks is a cat, and he's all like, Dad! Why can that person... Why can Binks not talk?
So, I have thoughts about this. I have thought about it very hard and long for the many years I have watched this movie.
Why can't he talk?
I think Binks can only communicate with children.
Oh, yeah, I would vibe with that. That is...
Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
Because he cannot communicate to the adults when he is with his parent, when they're with his parents. When they see the cop, he doesn't say anything. And they're like, this cat talks. And the cop looks at them like they're fucking crazy. So...
Danny brings them to their parents.
And he doesn't
say anything.
Side note on this same train, can I just give a shout out to Larry Madrid? He's the trainer for the cat who actually played Binks.
Oh.
And I assumed, because cats are very hard to train, I automatically assumed it was multiple black cats being used to film different scenes, because he does so many tricks in this movie. At one point, he playfully bats at one of the kids' faces to insinuate a face slap. And it's too good to have been CGI of the time. The second the CGI starts, you know it's happening. Yeah. So they trained that cat to do that. He jumps on the main boy's back on command. He sits in place. He does so many tricks. I just assumed it was multiple cats. But this dude literally trained this one cat for this thing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm so impressed.
He's such a good boy.
He's such a good boy. It doesn't say his name.
The cat's name?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Maybe they just named it Binks.
Also, in the opening scene, before Thackeray has an opportunity to spill the potion, which he shouldn't have been able to do because it was a cast iron pot. It should have been hot.
It was a cast iron cauldron.
First of all, those things are heavy. It was full, and it should have been hot. It doesn't look hot because it's cast iron. Anyone who, has cooked with cast iron knows that. But, like, he should not have been able to do that. And then why didn't you zap him before? She has these abilities to, like, lift him up in the air, like,
Side note, sorry, I did a quick Google search to check my math, and it actually took 9 cats to play Binks, but they were all trained by Larry. So, still, good fucking job, but, like, it is impressive that he did such a good job in ensuring to keep them such, like, they all had similar enough body language and responded so similarly to commands that you really can't tell. And yeah, they're all black cats, but like, still, that's impressive. There's no difference in how they act on screen.
Yeah.
Good job, dude. Good job. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things wrong with this movie.
There's a lot of moments like, why didn't person do X? Like,
well,
there's also a really big issue with how the director had the characters read off their lines.
yes, we will get.
Do we want to talk about the Folgers commercial energy?
We're halfway in.
Yeah, and I mean,
what do you want to talk about before
I just wanted to say with the timeline before we go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, say your timeline piece. We'll get into this.
In October 31st, 1993, just happened to be a Sunday. This movie takes place after school. What fucking kid went to school on a Sunday?
All of them in the movie.
All of them.
So, just pointing that out, another issue with the timeline. I understand the movie actually came out in July of 1993, but if it was supposed to be for Halloween of 1993...
There's calendars. Even in 93, there's calendars.
Yeah, and there's like a mathematical equation you can do that Google does for you when you ask it stuff like that.
Google did not exist in 93.
No, what I'm saying is it does the mathematical equation that we know. So like literally all they would have to do is find their one math friend from college and go, hey, can you tell me what date it was supposed to be on this day? And it would have been done. Yeah. Like what I'm saying is the equation existed then. We didn't have Google to do it for us, but it existed then.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, there's a lot of wrong things, but definitely the Folgers commercial feeling.
Yeah, let's get into this.
I honestly...
This was birthed by my brain, and I'm sorry in advance.
Yeah, because I hadn't noticed it, but now that you mention it, I see it.
As I was watching it most recently, I was like, their energy's kind of weird, but I couldn't put a finger on exactly why I didn't like the energy between Max and Danny, who are the main siblings that we follow.
And then Sam and I were watching the movie, because I didn't have time. I was editing the other episode, and I just didn't have time to do much. We were watching, and Myra was also in the room, and I just said, Folgers commercial, and Sam died on the spot.
Yes.
I could not handle it. I didn't like it. I wanted him to put it back.
And I'll be honest, I had not seen said Folgers commercial before, so I was so confused. I was like, what the heck? I saw the commercial today. Yep. That's all I have to say is yes.
This is weird. First of all, they put this 8-year-old in bright red lipstick.
But that was 90s.
It was 90s, but it was also, like, the shade they chose.
Even in the 90s, bright red lipstick meant something.
That's fair.
Jessica Rabbit existed then.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'm not objecting to them putting the little girl...
Is that on our list?
It should be.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes.
I
put it in there.
Thank you.
I'm not objecting to them giving the little girl lipstick. I'm objecting to the bright red harlot shade.
And like you can say, oh yeah, it totally went with her dress and went with her outfit. That's chill, but like it looks and yes, let me put it this way:
she has no other makeup on.
Stop. No, if she acted differently in the scenes, I would completely agree with you. But the vibe that she gives 90% of the time when she's talking to her brother does not read as little sister. It reads as girl next door. That is, the delivery of the line is borderline flirtatious.
And that's not to hate on this 8-year-old child.
She did her best. We are not coming for you, honey.
She was, I don't know how old she was when she was actually filming this, but whenever we discuss child actors on this show, it is in no way their fault for the performance they end up giving. It is entirely the direction that they receive, in my opinion.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Because they're just doing what the directors tell them to, and nothing can be their fault at that point. They are just doing what an adult is telling them to.
Before we continue, I just thought about something. Mm-hmm. If you are like me and have no fucking idea what we're talking about, the Folgers commercial, go on YouTube, look up
Folgers Christmas commercial.
No, Folgers brother and sister Christmas commercial
of
2009.
a couple of years ago, there was a big stink about this. Because the internet to this day is still dying over this fucking commercial, okay? Every Christmas season, there are memes of, like, remember.
Remember the Folgers. Remember the Alamo.
If you're bored and want to go on AO3 and look at the fuckery that's there, there is a Folgers tag.
The fact that they made fanfic about this commercial is scary.
Are you surprised?
I could go into the... So Italia's coming back. And it reminded me of a couple weird fanfics. You didn't even see it.
I saw the... I stood on the sidelines.
Yeah, you saw the fandom, and I'm not going to defend them. They have no rights. I was one of them, though, and I was one of the ones that was just standing in the middle of the sea of insanity going, hello? But I remembered a couple fanfics from that fandom, and let me fucking tell you, when you accidentally stumble across the embodiment of America... What?
Oh my god.
There is no limit to weird. However, the Folgers, I'm not touching. What? What the fuck we can do Italia later. It's fine.
Oh my god, I don't want to.
That's not in the show.
Wait, this is where
of course it's weird.
Fanfictions exist, though. Fanfiction is...
I thought Deku X Nomu was weird. America X Hamburger?
Tell me it's wrong.
Okay, we talked about the fucking castle and the squid.
Look, do not get into a weird ship or weird fanfic contest with me. I have ammo.
I'm terrified of you.
You should be.
I think there's way too much out there that people's brains is creating. It's scary.
Get a new hobby. Learn to sew.
They do know how to sew. That's how they cosplayed the fucking character.
That's how it gets scarier.
Is that in their brain they were thinking of that beautiful thing they wrote last Tuesday.
And your life is ruined.
Anyway, so there's a bunch of really weird Folgers fanfics on AO3 if you get really bored. That was all that tangent was for. Hey guys, welcome to the mid-roll break for this week. I promise I'm going to make this short and sweet. First of all, happy Halloween. Due to the hurricane, we had to release a day late because I could not start editing without the file. That's great. Yeah, long story short, we're here, no worries. Happy Halloween, blah, blah, blah. Already said all that shit. This is where we would shout out who won and who got the answer right for this week's episode. No one actually guessed on our socials, so this week we're actually going to give it to Joey. Before we even started recording the episodes or told him anything about it, he asked if we were going to be doing Hocus Pocus for our Halloween episode. So you win by default, and I'm sure you would have won anyway because this is your show. So congratulations. If you would like to try and win for the reals, check our Twitter, our Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. All of those we're posting hints on as well as the thing that goes on at the end of the episode. So look there if you want to try and guess along, or just guess in your own mind. Do whatever you want. It's a free country for the next, 3 days? All right. So that's really all I had for you guys. We got all of our mics to work, so hopefully it's sounding a little better this week. Let us know if you have any thoughts, recommendations, or show recommendations for us to add to our list at either any of our socials or the email. Those will be listed at the end of the show. I'm sorry I didn't write them down this week. All right. I will not keep you any longer. Enjoy the rest of the show. And thank you so much for listening. But yeah, it's the vibe that poor child gives off throughout the majority of the movie is...
For example, the first scene we see Danny in, she's hiding in her brother's closet.
Which is fine.
Kids do that. Kids do that.
I mean, she wanted to scare him.
Yeah,
that was the whole point.
That was the point. But then she watches him snuggle up to a pillow. He's pretending is Allison. And he's like, "Oh, Allison, you're so soft. Oh, Allison." Which, I mean, is a little creepy, but, a teenage boy. All right.
And, He's in his room. That's, you know...
He's by himself.
It's supposed to be a private moment. No one's supposed to know he's doing this shit.
And then his sister busts out of the closet. He freaks out. And then she jumps over him onto the bed with him and goes, "Oh, I'm Allison. Kiss me, I'm Allison."
And he doesn't get off the bed. Like,
it's weird.
She jumps on the bed and he just kind of goes, "Whoa.
Whoa, bad vibe."
And that's about it. He just kind of sits there and goes, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" That doesn't read brother-sister.
That reads potential love interest.
There's also, when they're going to, like, so they leave eventually they leave the house, and the family vibe is back on. Their brother and sister vibe is solid. And then the bully scene happens, and then she gets sad, runs, falls on a bale of hay in tears, and clutches a pumpkin. And he comes and, like, big spoons her to, like, comfort her. And it looks so weird. It is such an once your brain kind of picks up the vibe of the scene, it's like,
and to be honest, being a person that's come from watching it since I was a child to now being an adult and watching it, I will still not stop watching it, even though it has weird vibes.
No, you have rights.
I have to admit, I think I'm never going to see this movie the same again, only because that scene had always creeped me out. I never understood why. I always made me feel uncomfortable. Like that scene alone. Like the rest of them weren't bad, but just that scene personally made me feel weird.
Well, and then
I didn't understand why. But now that I've seen the Folgers commercial and like connected the
bad vibes
as an adult.
And
I'm
then,
like...
Yeah. Jumping ahead just a little bit, when they finally get to the house, the Sanderson sisters' house, and Allison's like, "Oh, I'm so pretty, and, like, definitely not a teenager, but I'm the love interest, hello." She makes some comment, and it's kind of flirtatious to Max. And then Danny goes, "Alright." Like,
she tries to almost square up, and because of what has happened previously, and also the intensity, it doesn't feel like she's mad that this girl is, like, taking away her brother. It feels like she thinks that she's coming onto her turf. Like, hey, I have already started on this project. You need to find your own.
Sister.
so weird.
Yeah, and it's not her fault. Like, this kind of happens later with Binks. Like, at this point, yes, there has been a 300-year gap, and yes, his voice actor hasn't changed. However, that boy was a boy in the 1690s and has been conscious throughout the years. You have a finger up, and I'm going to finish my statement. He has been conscious and learning, and he has been a person, aside from being in the body of a cat, for the past 300 years, and he is a fully grown, 3 times minimum man. He is a overgrown man, and he cuddles up with that girl and goes to sleep with her and kisses her on the cheek at the end, and that is weird. You may go now, Myra.
Okay, fun fact.
She had her finger up.
No. I just wanted to... Go ahead.
Fun fact.
It'll be quick.
The cat's voice is not the same as the actor that was the Thackeray Binks.
My point was it was the same pitch.
It was. But I agree with you. Because throughout the whole time he's a cat, he has this maturity that the kids do not have.
He kind of gives off the whole wise mentor energy for most of the film of like, I know what the fuck is going on. Come on, you stupid imbeciles.
Yes.
Let me show you how not to die. And then at the very end, he like gently takes Danny's hand. They have this moment where they look into each other's eyes. He like he whispers into her ear and then kisses her very I'll never leave you, and then very intimately kisses her on the cheek. And throughout the whole film, everyone's very handsy with this 8-year-old.
Oh my god, yeah, the zombie dude comes out of the ground, and he comes out of the ground, all that stuff happens, and then he cuts his mouth open, and from then he's like actually a good guy. And he's helping them hide her in the salt circle, and he like puts both hands on her shoulders a little too far down for it to be like
Okay.
Like, okay, yes, the poor actor, he had prosthetics on. I'm not saying he made the active choice, but coming from the viewer's perspective, this is what it looked like. He puts his hands on her shoulders a little further down than you would expect, and then kind of walks her over to the grave that was like 4 steps away. It is, and it's not just him, but that's just what came to my mind at Sam mentioning that.
Allison, Max...
The witches.
Everybody's very handsy with this 8-year-old, and it kind of makes me a little uncomfortable.
I think the way this movie was directed, it was very wrong.
Kenny Ortega, he made some decisions. It's not his
but
best
I'm also thinking,
which is sad because it does have a lot of funny moments.
It's a good movie, but it's like
good movie. I think
what was going on with that 8-year-old?
Well, I think they had a lot of things going on family-wise. The only reason I think of that is because when you get to besides Danny and Max, you have the devil scene. Mm-hmm. So they go into the house that they think is Satan.
That.
And the couple that is in that house are actually brother and sister.
Which is weird.
The fact that they are acting as a married couple, it's like, okay, they're actors, but they're actually not actors. They're both directors.
See, okay, if it was just 2 random people, fine, you do your random thing. If it was just 2 random people or 2 actors making a cameo without all the other weird shit that's going on, but this is stacking up. It is weird, it's getting weirder, and there is some weird sexual tension between boys and their sisters.
In this film,
Yes, it is.
Driver being like, I can take you to children.
Okay.
You're just mad about it.
Weird.
It's so weird. I said I will die on this hill.
No,
you will not die on this hill. Because
you're not dying. There's no hill.
There's no hill. Because he's not being perverted. He's not being childly perverted towards the children. At this point, he thinks in his mind, and just going by contents of the movie.
Side note, before we get into it, the context is they were getting on the bus, the dude flirted with them, and he thought they were flirting back. Go ahead.
Yes. So, in the context, the whole scene, he opens the doors to the bus. He flirts with the girls. The girls flirt back. And the thing that he asks, where can I take you? And the girls say, take us to children. He takes that as, I'm going to have a good-ass fucking time tonight with 3 women.
He takes and that as they all want babies from me.
And he goes, it may take me a while, but I can take you to children.
Straight people are weird.
That is a known thing.
I guess that's why I understand that it's not perverted.
I understood it.
But because the way...
Asexual here, what's up?
But
Ace mood. You don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on.
Because at that point, he's pretty much saying... When he says, it's going to take me a while, he's literally saying, it's going to take you about 9 months to pop out a kid. But I can get you there.
Yeah, because... It's a misfire in communication. You're not dying on a hill. There's just no hill, and you keep screaming.
Yes,
it's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird. It's 90s flirtation. That's the weird
welcome
part.
to the 90s.
Welcome to the 90s.
Thank God I was a child.
I mean, I was a fucking child, and I still understood it.
I was born in 94, my guy.
I was born in 90.
92.
I'm not that much older than you.
Yeah, you have a bad excuse.
It's still weird. I don't like it. I don't like it.
You can not like it, but you need to not like it from he should not be randomly flirting with people.
Yeah, not from he's a pedophile. Because you're making it sound like he's a pedophile.
It's the same social construct as a dude coming up to a barista and flirting with them at work. It's the same social construct. They are forced to be there, and this person who's wanting a service is using that fact. While the roles are reversed, they need to use that service, and he is using his power to force them to interact with him in a potentially sexual way.
And it works for him because then Sarah's fucking sitting on his lap.
Well, Sarah's a slut.
She's fucking making out with every guy in the party.
And listen, Sarah Jessica Parker has rights to be a slutty witch.
They over-sexualized her in the movie, though. They seriously hyper-sexualized her.
How much of that was Sarah Jessica Parker, and how much of that was Kenny Ortega?
Who knows?
From things I've heard, throughout, research and stuff that I've done recently, it's 45-55 deal. So she was into it, like doing it flirtatiously because she knows how to do a flirtatious actress.
Mm-hmm. Well, like she did Sex and the City.
Yeah, but the way her character was written, she was written to be hypersexualized. And the scenes that she was put in were way...
Yeah, that's fair. Because, like,
yeah,
I get her wanting to be, a promiscuous witch. I get it. But some of the scenes, she's almost spilling out of her corset. Like,
like full stop. She needs wardrobe quick,
like
again,
fashion
she
tape
has
or something.
she has no, not chemise. What the fuck is it called? No,
slip.
Yes, throughout the whole film. So you see her midriff. Again with her underwear. I know you think I'm like, why am I touching on this?
No, it's valid.
No.
If that's the only thing that's not period about their clothes and you can see it, that's an interesting thing to point out, even if it's for good reasons. And you
have a lot of scenes where
Sarah's the only one whose midriff shows throughout the entire movie of the rest of the sisters.
And like you have several different scenes for her where you have her dancing with Satan. She did not have to have her skirt all the way to her chin.
Basically, yeah.
Like, I get that she wanted to dance with her lord or whatever, her master. But, okay, and that's another thing I have an issue with. Why is it... again, love the movie, still love it, will never stop loving it. But, why is it that they see this old guy and they go, master... Do you not know who your master looks like?
That's like 1,000% valid.
Because, there are two equally potential options, okay? One, the devil changes face all the time and the only thing he keeps is the horn and tail. Mm-hmm. And a red theme. 2, that man looked exactly like the devil.
3.
Oh, 3.
They didn't actually... When they died, their souls didn't go to hell. They were just trapped in this stasis-like energy.
I mean, they flat out say they went to hell.
They went to hell, because they talk about it.
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
So my thing is...
Back to 2.
I would agree with you that he switches forms. Mm-hmm. Because it does go back to fan fictions, because a lot of fan fictions talk about how he switches his form. But I find it interesting that at least with the fan theories and fan fictions, mm-hmm. the only thing that the devil keeps intact... pretty much all the time is his eyes. Everything else is different.
Okay.
But to me, the reason I say this is if they think he's the devil, let's say they look into his eyes or they see something that signifies he's the devil. You see 2 other devils throughout the movie and they don't go, master? Mm-hmm. Like...
I don't know.
See, I kind of chalk that up to them trying to learn on the fly as they go through this new world. Because the second they leave that devil's house, they rip off the mask of one of the kids. They're starting to realize that none of this is what they think it is. Because, they're coming from a completely different time period. So
yes, you're right.
So I think from that point, I think it would have been funny to have one of the more dim-witted witches pause in front of one of the devils and go... master, and then another one of them pull them away.
Yes.
Just to reminisce back to that.
Yeah.
It would have been fun, but that's kind of what I was chalking it up to
they're starting to realize that this time, mm-hmm. obviously, everybody's in costume.
Because, once they get to the concert scene, they handle that so well for people from the 300s. I think, in their brains, what must have been, the characters' brains, what must have been going on is... okay, there's people up there that were singing a minute ago. We can do that. Do what they were doing and
this is what balls look like now. All right, let's go.
Go.
And it's on that aspect. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Also that's the best scene in the entire movie. It saves the entire film.
It does.
Do you know what the clip from the end of last week's episode was?
Did you figure it out?
I put a spell on you.
And now you're mine. I can't sing. Don't hate me.
None of us can sing.
I don't have a terrible voice. So why are you pointing at me?
Because we can't sing.
Oh no.
You can dance.
You can dance.
I can sing.
Do it.
Alright, fuck you.
The confidence. She is beauty, she is grace.
And falls off her chair.
I have not fallen. This chair is uneven. It is not stable.
Okay, do we want to switch to talking about the rabid fandom real quick?
Sure.
Because I think we covered a lot of the movie really well.
The fandoms. So, the fandoms. I, unfortunately, again, fan theories, there's so many. Like, Allison being a white witch, which I totally agree with. I came across one that was pretty weird about the book.
Oh.
That it is based on all the skins of the worst, at that time, rulers.
Oh.
So, like, Henry VIII and Bloody Mary and
That's interesting.
Khan. Like, that was a very interesting theory, that the skin that the book is made out of is a piece of skin from all of them. Going back, that would make the book evil, wouldn't you think?
I mean, yeah. Can I just say, I think it is very strange from an outsider's perspective how the fandom has latched on to the 3 child murderers.
Dude, the fandom fucking loves the sisters.
Coming from someone who was not into this show up until literally a year ago, it was strange.
The fandom will defend the sisters till no end.
And I'm not gonna fight them.
It is, I think out of everything, if you ask anybody that's seen this movie, the first thing they will talk about is the witches. They will not talk about Danny. They will not talk about the witches.
I'm not saying they don't have rights. The sisters were the funniest part of the whole fucking movie.
They were iconic.
If anything from them had changed, the movie would not exist in the same capacity.
Oh, yeah.
They were the reason I kept watching. So, like, I'm not mad at them. I just find it interesting that they went,
Child
eat
murder.
the children, my pretties. Yes.
Okay, but how is that any different from them latching on to literally every villain ever? They latch on to Loki. They latch on...
Okay, but Loki's hot, though.
Okay, so is Sarah Jessica Parker.
That's fair. She is hot.
No,
I'm not taking that away from her. She's hot.
She's hot!
As someone who doesn't typically simp for villains who murder children, I'm just sharing a point that I have.
People simp for Overhaul.
I said as someone. Yes, and they have issues. Guys, listen, if you simp for Overhaul, I want you to know I'm praying to my non-existent God for you, and the number to my therapist is 1-800 please get help. I don't know what happened in your life, but I'm here for you, and I just want you to know that I'll listen if you need it. But no, like, it's just... And plus, that was one kid, and she didn't die. Spoilers for my hero, sorry. Mild spoilers, nothing big. Anyway, like, I just find it interesting that they took... There's nothing wrong with simping for villains. I'm not mad about that. It's interesting.
But technically any Disney villain, though, because if you think about the actual ages of the princesses, going to even Disney princesses, Maleficent...
You're touching on an issue.
Aurora was supposed to be, 13, 14?
They aged her up.
They aged them up for every movie.
And that's an issue.
They were all aged up for the movies. But if we're talking about people latching onto villains, we've all latched onto a villain. I mean, Ursula's like the shit.
Look, Hades is bitching.
Maleficent has rights.
Okay, but
no, I'm not hating on Maleficent.
Okay.
Maleficent's dope.
If we're talking about Disney villains right now, which one of them also murdered multiple children? Hades doesn't count because he's literally the god of death.
I think Maleficent comes closest.
Maleficent never killed anyone, not even in her original story. She didn't
that's
get invited to a
Fair.
birthday party, and she threw a bitch fit.
No, but
fair.
that's valid though because at the time
we're not talking about Maleficent. We're talking. I'm making a point, a small point. We don't have to go on the tangent. Lock it down.
I'm trying to think.
Hold on.
That's fair.
Hades doesn't count.
Cruella de Vil attempted to kill puppies and failed.
Okay.
Scar.
did not kill a child.
Directly.
Or indirectly.
Or indirectly, because he killed Mufasa.
The implication is that the pride is dying off because there's not enough food.
Right. So he fucked over his family, but he implemented communism. He did not go around with a gun going pachoo pachoo.
Okay.
So that I personally, I would not count that.
Okay.
He did not seek out, I'm going to kill you. These bitches went, hey, you look tasty, in like a food way.
He tried to kill Simba.
Tried, and failed.
This was when he was an adult, though.
No. He tries to kill him via stampede. He knows Simba's down there.
Well, didn't Simba go after his dad?
Yeah.
So Simba went down there on his own.
No. Simba got stuck in the stampede, and then Mufasa goes to try to save him. And
because he goes, Simba's caught in the gourd, or whatever.
Personally, I would chalk that up to whether or not he lives or dies. Scar does not care. The goal was not to kill the child.
The goal was to kill the brother. Okay.
Yeah, the goal. No, technically to kill both.
I mean,
because if he kills Mufasa, Simba gets the crown. So he needs to kill Simba and Mufasa to be able to get the crown completely.
But he didn't.
He attempted to.
So, okay, I will give you this. He has 1 point for the attempt. Unfortunately, that still does not beat the infinity number for the witches.
But technically, the witches only killed one child.
That we know of. The long pause. Other Disney villains who have killed children.
It's hard.
I'm just saying. Okay, I'll expand the horizons. Find another villain who has killed specifically children.
Targeting children?
Targeting on purpose. No accidents going, that
the
child...
witch from Hansel and Gretel.
Witch from Hansel and Gretel.
That's not a movie or show. That's
Yes, it is!
Oh.
What?
Don't shout. No need to shout.
Sorry. Is it Jack and Jill? No, Jack and Jill. Sorry.
What the fuck? That's where they go up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
No, it is Hansel and Gretel. I'm fucking playing.
Myra, what are you on tonight?
Caffeine.
Give me your coffee. I'm just kidding.
Hansel and Gretel. Yes, technically the movie that they made about them, which bombed, by the way.
Yes.
Correct.
They aged them up. Mm-hmm. But they aged them up to be 10 years or 20 years after the witches. Mm-hmm. So, the witch.
I will give you that the witch in the original fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel does count.
Technically, in the movie, they explain that she was a witch that tried to eat them, and then that turned them into witch hunters.
So wait, she failed too?
Failed on Hansel and Gretel. Previously, she did that quite often with children.
Cool. Okay, you have one that I will give you. We don't have to stay on this topic. I just found it interesting.
I'm curious now. Like,
yeah, it just made me very
I don't want that in my search history. Never mind.
Because I actually can't think of any that actively saw. Like maybe if we ventured into the world of anime, but I don't know.
Even the world of anime.
I mean,
I don't think
Orochimaru technically wanted to kill Sasuke to take over his body, but, like, I don't know if I would chalk that up because he wanted him to train first.
Villain? Well, okay, but, like, what about...
I guess you could also say Thanos because he just kind of killed everyone, period.
But he wasn't out to... He wasn't like, I'm gonna kill children!
Okay, that's... Again, okay, I broke my own rule.
He was out to kill half of the society at that time. But he did kill children. He did not...
Right, but I broke my own rule with him. Children focused. See, that's the thing. It's so interesting that they were able to take these characters who technically should not be redeemable in any way, shape, or form because their literal motive for the entire movie is, I would like to snack on that small child.
Yeah.
And they took them and made them cult classic favorites. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm. I trying to get away from the subject because I think you win.
I honestly can't think of...
You win. It's not even a win. I just find it so interesting.
I mean, it is
This wasn't supposed to be a competition, but I'll gladly take the win. I'd like to thank the Academy, obviously, and my two friends for helping me get this win.
I think the reason people fell in love with the sisters is just they're so charismatic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And the costumes.
Oh, and
the aesthetic.
Although, I gotta admit, I love the fact that in the movie, you have 3 little girls that dress up like the Sanderson sisters. But at the time when the Sanderson sisters were hung, you really didn't know what the... Thank you. Hanged. You really didn't know what they would look like.
That's fair.
See, that irked me. I was like, there's no fucking way that these 3 little girls know exactly what the sisters looked like. Fuck you, Disney, for putting in your own product placement.
Okay, are you talking about them or the little teapot? Because the little teapot was...
The little teapot was so much worse.
The little teapot was so
much worse.
Throughout the background of the entire movie, you have the same devil. You have the same witch. Not one of the sisters. You have the same mummy. And then during the rock and roll scene, you have a very culturally appropriated geisha, a very culturally appropriated Native American, and then... just out of nowhere, when the little girls are stealing their fucking brooms, you have Mrs. Teapot just walking out like, hello. Only it's the most ugly costume I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, the stout is like deflated. It's crumpled. She's all like loose.
But for the times, I gotta admit, because at that time they did not have like the blow up costumes that
do you know how to fix that? My dad used to do this when he was a kid in the like 70s and 80s. You take newspaper
and stuff it up,
gently ball it up, stuff it. Suddenly it's not fluffy anymore.
Or even cut a hula hoop open and super glue it.
No, I agree. There was plenty of ways to fix it. Like they should have fixed that. But I think that's signifying like kids being kids at the time. They don't give a fuck.
Again, my dad did that as a kid.
Literally, me as a child, I would be like, no, fuck this.
The look of defeat. I'm so sorry.
I was trying. I tried. But I agree.
Rights.
That was Disney's way of putting themselves in the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
They did that. But I like the fact that they actually gave homage to a lot of other Halloween movies. Because you had Mike Myers in the background. You had, what was it? Midsummer's Night, like creepy animal. I don't know if you didn't see it. Creepy animal background.
No, but there were a lot of cult classics that they paid homage to within the background of the trick-or-treating scenes.
Although I wish I would have seen a Freddy. Or not a Freddy. Yes, a Freddy. Freddy Krueger, yes. Because at the time, Elm Street was a big thing.
Alright, so what else do we have to cover?
So, fandom still.
We kind of touched on it. Well, okay. As someone who has been in the fandom for much longer than either of us, is there anything else weird that you've seen aside from weird fanfics and this weird, like, appreciation?
Well, I've seen a lot of interesting facts throughout the movie.
Okay. For the fandom.
No, the fandom specifically. Things I've noticed is that people tend to lump it in with practical magic, the craft,
I've never seen them lumped in with the craft, but definitely practical magic and
I saw a lot of gift set of
witches. I've seen it lumped in with witches a lot.
Halloween Town.
Yes, definitely
Halloween
Town.
Such a good. The first one and the second one have rights. Anything after that?
Yeah.
I don't remember it. I just remember as a kid, I lived for it.
Me too.
See, that was like it was. Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town 2, Nightmare Before Christmas. Best Halloween movies ever. As for kids. No, but as far as the fandom goes, I mean, they've had a lot of interesting things, but I mean, really, it all revolves around the witches. There's a lot of the Billy story with Winifred.
Oh.
Because, you know...
Talk about underutilized characters. I would have loved for Billy to either be a more antagonistic force within the story, or...
to have joined them sooner.
Yeah.
Yes. I think he would have been a very interesting character to have joined them sooner. But there's been a lot of theories between the Winifred-Billy thing. One of them was actually that at first she thought it was a disguise of the devil. Coming to visit her after he gave her the book.
Interesting.
And then upon realizing it wasn't him, she still had him as a consort. And then when Sarah went, I like him too.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Winifred is certifiable. And I mean that in the kindest way possible.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Go ahead.
Okay.
She's Logo in the Coco. We all know it, and there's no getting around it.
And she's physically abusive to everyone around her, so I don't blame Billy for straying to Sarah, who is
She's emotionally
a himbo.
abusive.
She is just abusive.
She
checks all the box.
The way she treats her
Shut up.
The way she treats her sisters is just downright.
She's emotionally abusive, she's physically abusive, she's not a good person. I don't blame Billy at all for being like, oh, hey, Sarah, you're just kind of nice to me. And who knows? Maybe it was better with her. I don't know.
Yeah. Just a couple before we finish fun facts, if you ever wanted to know. Max could have been played by Leonardo DiCaprio. But he
Max
turned...
is such a flat character. I hate him so much.
He's a flat character, but I think I think... I'm sort of glad that Leo didn't act him.
Yeah, same.
Because at that point he rejected it because he had also gotten pitched What's Eating Gilbert Grape,
which is a fantastic movie, by the way.
Yes.
Chef's Kiss.
With Johnny Depp, which I think is one of those movies that Johnny Depp did right. And I'm glad that Leonardo DiCaprio turned it down, only because really...
He should have gotten an Oscar for
a lot of things.
Yes, we know.
But especially for What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
He did an amazing job for an autistic kid.
Even not like he plays a severely autistic or like
he is severely autistic, I think.
He has some form of mental disability.
Why don't we just call it that?
Yeah, he has some form of severe mental disability.
And he played it beautifully.
So much so that experts were like, it's non-offensive, and experts were like, that is the most accurate representation of, I don't remember the condition that he has, but of that condition I have seen to date.
And and honestly, he did it so non-offensive. It was very, very well executed.
Yeah, it's very much, this is just how people with that condition act.
At the time, he was like a teenager when he did it, so...
It's his first, like, breakout serious role.
Okay. So...
another fun fact. The song that Sarah Jessica Parker sings, the actual song, that is her vocals. Cool. They don't have anybody else singing it.
Because when they do the band scene, you can tell that they double it.
Yeah, but the song that she sings is her actual vocals, which... Props to Sarah Jessica Parker, because she can sing. Another fun fact, too, is that song is written by the same person that wrote the Titanic song.
Celine Dion?
No. Celine Dion sang it, but there's a guy who wrote it. I don't know what his name is.
Sure.
But wrote the same song.
Okay.
But yeah.
I think we've delved
pretty well into it.
Yeah.
So why should you watch that, you guys?
Coming from someone who's never seen it before, it was a really fun way to kind of kick off the Halloween season. Thank you. Aside from, yes, there's some weird like directing choices, but the witches do such a good job of like pushing through that it doesn't really impact the overall scene of the movie. If you've seen the movie before, and we've mentioned this, I'm sorry. I hope it doesn't ruin it for you, but it didn't ruin it for me. It didn't ruin it for Myra.
Nope.
It's something
you probably
that
not watch it again.
I know I will watch it again. It's just going to be one of those.
Well, it's one of those things where unfortunately once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
But like for me, the witches were funny enough for me to be like, look, that's in the past. Maybe there was a different vibe back then.
Right.
But I'm willing to sit through it again.
And that's something that I'm thinking about too, is like, at the end of the day, I think about it because a lot of things that we also see nowadays in comparison to when we saw it when you were younger or saw it at the time when it actually came out, there's a lot of things that we see in media that we're like, why did you make that choice? And then when you really think about the time and era when they're making these choices, you're like, I can understand it.
Or, they didn't have the same kind of standards.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't want to hate it because of that, because honestly, I'm thinking this was early 90s. It wasn't like mid 90s or late 90s. It was early 90s. So they had no standards. Let's be honest. Early 90s had no freaking standards.
The U.S. was just coming off of a win of the Cold War. The economy was booming. Everything was great.
We had no standards. So, with that in mind... Oh, yeah, we've come quite a bit. Mm-hmm. With that in mind, I'm still going to watch it next Halloween 3 or 4 or maybe 12 times. Don't hate me for it.
I'm judging you. I'm not hating you.
But I'll be honest, that's the only time I watch it a year. So or when Disney Plus came up.
Council, what would we rank this?
It's good family fun. I would put it in the background. 9. Oh,
for me personally. Okay, look.
No,
for me, it's a solid 9. Again, I grew up on this. My mom. This is something that I watch with my mom every year.
Sure,
it is a family classic.
In bringing up some negatives about it, we're not trying to take that away from you.
Oh, no. We're just trying to
because I see that. Trust me, as many times as I've seen it, I see that it has definitely a lot of things wrong with it that could have... Mm-hmm. I mean, I agree with you. The whole flipping the damn cauldron. Mm-hmm. How did he do that? You're not that strong. And the fact
it also should have been hot.
I used to work for Home Depot driving around equipment. That liquid had to weigh about as much as like a half full pallet of paint. And those things will break a pallet jack if you put them under. You have to get equipment to lift them up. No teenage boy, no matter how full of themselves they are, can do that.
Exactly.
Correct. Anyway, my vote is yes, you should watch this. If anything, it will be a very fun and festive movie to watch. And with some weird Easter eggs you not know about.
Yeah, I would say watch it. It's good fun. It's lighthearted. Not Kenny Ortega's best work, but... it's got flavor, it's got a good aesthetic.
I again, this is something that I love. I always suggest to watch it, always suggest to put it on. My godchildren have grown up with it because I'm gonna force them to watch it.
No, I mean, you have all the rights. I think it's a good fun... Lower for me than Over the Garden Wall. I think Over the Garden Wall is better. This is my opinion.
That's fair. This definitely hit more on the comedy scheme, which is something that I really like. If you are in more for the spooks for the season, I guess that would be a better shot for you. But I think that's yeses all around though.
Yeah, definitely. As far as the fandom goes.
Stay away.
Didn't we already do this?
No, we did the show.
I thought we were done. God damn
we were watching. We're talking about if you should stay away from the fandom or go to the fandom.
Yeah, now we're discussing, do you avoid it? Do you delve into it?
We didn't do this last time.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we said the
fandom is very
benign.
I just kind of tacked that on. Go ahead, do it.
I would say surface level fandom, totally fine. Don't go much deeper than that.
Yeah. I agree. I went too deep. I had not gone that deep. Stay away.
I am baby to the fandom and have not gone anywhere, but I've heard things now. I would agree. Don't go deep.
Just enjoy the cute gift sets.
Think about the weird potential ship material we've spoken about in this episode, and then give it to the fandom. Then give it to the fandom.
Yep. Run.
Just enjoy the cute gift sets. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the fan art.
Enjoy the costumes, because the costumes are amazing.
Oh my god, every time they're on the brooms and they've got the personal fans to make the capes do the thing.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
Amazing.
Enjoy the costumes. Please dress up as Winifred, because Winifred has the best costume, I think.
Sarah Jessica Parker's cape, though.
Oh, her cape is beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
Alright.
But
besides that, don't go deep into the fandom.
So, final rating.
Don't be scared.
Enjoy the fun seasonal spooks. Comedy spooks. Don't go too deep into the fandom. And I think that about covers why you should watch Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Definitely. Enjoy it. Especially because this is airing the day before Halloween.
So happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
because I can't say Halloween. And I want to do a special shout out to my little brother because Halloween is his birthday. So happy birthday. And happy birthday to my cousin too, because he was born on Halloween. But so happy birthday, Junior and Isaac. And happy birthday to anybody who was born on Halloween, because that is like a dope-ass birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear person.
Dear listener.
Dear listener.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, so...
See, I can sing, you assholes.
We gave you an opportunity to sing,
and you
instead
didn't sing.
I panicked.
All right, so once again, thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast for the evening. This has been Why Should I Watch That? And we just let you know whether or not you should watch the cult classic Hocus Pocus, which I remembered the name of.
Good for you.
Thank you. You can find us on any of our socials at Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at WSIWT_podcast. Or you can email in suggestions at WSIWTpodcast, no underscore there, at gmail.com. Send us in any recommendations for shows you might want to recommend to us. Let us know if there's something we missed in an episode. If you have discourse about something we've said, let us know. We might read them and talk about them, depending on how nicely or meanly it's worded. Sometimes that's fun. Anything else we'd like to add before we sign off?
Yeah.
Here comes your clue for next week's episode.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
So
look at you. That was a good lead-in.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
We'll get the hang of this.
And check our socials for any hints, additional hints after the audio.
Yes.
We'll be posting brief, small pictures for you to look at, and maybe even a couple of quotes from the movie, just small ones. Whoever pieces it together gets the very second brownie point of the show.
And a shout out from
Yes.
us dearly.
Yes.
So, yay. Thank you for joining us. Hope you come back for the next one. It's going to be fun.
And happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Every time I close my eyes, I see a diuretic hippo about to shit on my face.